You know, the words we use, they really matter, especially when we're talking about our own brains. Today we're going to see how language can be used as a weapon to make us feel broken, but we're also going to see how a simple shift in how we think about the brain can change, well, pretty much everything.
Okay, so this all kicks off with something I am sure we have all seen a million times while scrolling. You know the one, an ad that promises to finally unlock the secrets of your mind. Let's take a closer look at one and really dig into the words it's using.
And right off the bat, we get this. Notice, this isn't an invitation, it's not a suggestion, it's a command, in all caps, designed to stop you in your tracks. It creates this instant urgency, this feeling of, oh no, what am I missing? But what is it they're so desperate for us to see?
Well, here it is, and just look at this language. Your brain is lying to you. Parasites can hijack it. Even trying to rest can apparently make your ADHD worse. Every single one of these points is designed to take a common, relatable struggle and blow it up into a catastrophic crisis. The goal here is to make you feel like your own brain is the enemy in your head.
And if you're reading this and thinking, wow, this feels kind of predatory, well, you're right on the money. It's absolutely designed to feel that way. This isn't just a jumble of scary-sounding words. It's a very specific, very calculated strategy. So let's pull back the curtain and see the playbook they're running.
Yeah, this goes way beyond simple clickbait. This is a systematic approach, one that's designed to completely sidestep your critical thinking and aim directly for your deepest insecurities. The whole strategy is about creating what you could call a fear/shame cocktail. The goal isn't to empower you with information. The goal is to make you anxious, to make you ashamed, and most importantly, to make you distrust yourself. Because once you believe you're broken, guess who has the cure?
And this stuff is practically textbook. It uses classic neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP, tactics. First up, you've got presupposition frames. They don't ask if your brain is sabotaging you. They ask a question that just assumes it already is, baking the premise right in. Then they use authority stacking, just a laundry list of doctor this and expert that to make it all sound legit. And finally, and this is the real kicker, they use problem amplification. They take something we all feel, like being tired but wired, and they turn it into some dark, terrifying truth about your broken brain.
So you have to ask, how do they get away with this? Well, it's because all of these manipulative little tricks are standing on the foundation of one single, powerful, and deeply flawed idea.
And that foundation is something called the deficit model. At its core, it's the belief that a brain that works differently, and our divergent brain, isn't just different, it's defective. It's a broken, malfunctioning copy of a normal brain. And of course, if something is broken, the goal is to fix it.
And once you see the deficit model, you see it everywhere in that app, right? Your brain is lying. It's being hijacked. It's sabotaging you. Every word reinforces this narrative that you are at war with a faulty piece of equipment inside your own skull, something you need to hack or escape from.
So that's the problem. But here's the good news. What if that whole model isn't just unhelpful? What if it's just flat out wrong? What if there's a much more accurate and frankly more powerful way to understand who we are?
Let's just put these two models side by side. The deficit model says the system is malfunctioning, but the adaptive model says no. The system is executing highly specialized adaptive algorithms. The deficit model says your video game character build is broken. The adaptive model says you just have a different skill tree, one that's optimized for a totally different kind of game. It's not a broken brain, it's just a different operating system.
And that different operating system idea is so key. Think about it like this. The problem isn't a hardware defect. The problem is trying to exist in a world, our schools, our workplaces, our social rules, that's constantly trying to run software that just wasn't designed for your architecture. It's an incompatibility issue, not a flaw in the system itself.
Now, to really understand just how profound this shift in thinking can be, let's look at a powerful case study. Dissociative identity disorder, or DID.
Through that old deficit lens, dissociation looks like a major bug, right? A sign of a mind that's shattered. But when you look at it through the adaptive lens, wow, you see it for what it truly is, a brilliant, complex, and necessary strategy for survival. It is, quite literally, the escape when there is no escape.
And this reframing changes the meaning of everything. What the old model calls a symptom, like identity fragmentation, the adaptive model sees as a feature, a form of parallel processing to distribute a psychological load that would otherwise crash the entire system. Those memory gaps, that's actually a compartmentalized memory architecture, a firewall to protect the core system. And alter switching, that's dynamic resource allocation. The system is deploying the part of itself best equipped to handle a specific crisis. These aren't bugs, they're advanced features, custom-built for survival.
And that leads us to this, which is so crucial. The disorder isn't the brain's solution. The real disorder was the environment that made that solution necessary in the first place.
So why does all this matter? I mean, this is so much more than just swapping out a few words to be nicer. Shifting our core model from deficit to adaptation changes absolutely everything about how we see ourselves, our challenges, and our future.
You know, in a way, the deficit model is a comforting lie, isn't it? It allows society to blame the individual instead of taking a hard look at its own rigid, often hostile systems. The idea that a brain would ever intentionally try to sabotage itself, that's the real delusion. That's the lie we've all been sold.
So in the end, it all comes down to the questions we're willing to ask. What happens when we completely throw out the question, "What's wrong with you?" and instead we start asking, "What were you built to survive?" When you ask that, the entire story changes. It's no longer a story about pathology. It becomes a story of adaptation, of incredible, specialized strength. Because that thing you were always told was a flaw, it might just be the architecture of your survival.